Welcome, everyone. Can you hear back there? Okay. See, everyone's been here more than once, so I won't say much for introduction. You know what we do. So let's do our refuge and bodhicitta prayer right away. Then we'll engage in our shamatha with some guidance from Trungpa Rinpoche. And we'll have a tea break, and then I hope you'll stay for a discussion.
Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge to the sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering and establish them in lasting peace and happiness. Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge to the sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering and establish them in lasting peace and happiness. Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge to the sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering and establish them in lasting peace and happiness.
So that prayer tells us very clearly why we're here. Not for self alone, not excluding self, but we engage in this practice to end the suffering of all beings. So, that calls forth the immeasurable of equanimity. The moment we leave someone out, label them too difficult, label them enemy, we're outside of the Dharma. We're outside of the teachings of the Buddha. The Buddha meant it when he said, all, friend, family, enemy, stranger, animals, insects, fish, birds, all. Any being that has sentience, feelings. Even small ants will run away from a fire. They have feelings. Even someone who hates you must be included. This is what makes Buddhism a vast practice. And a practice that can end suffering. The moment we have a too difficult person or an enemy, we suffer. That's even before the suffering we impose on that being. We ourselves suffer. That's a tormented mind. We all know this, but our job is to tame the mind, tame it away from those kind of habits. So I wanted to read something that's been helping me with my shamatha. It comes from a commentary by Trungpa Rinpoche, one of our lineage masters who's still alive. And it's in a book called Creation and Completion, which is an amazing book on the essential points of tantric practice. So when we engage in calm abiding, we have to have these two qualities, excuse me, of mindfulness and alertness. A lot of times I think we have a sense of calm abiding because it says calm is sort of get in a hammock, get spacey. And this is not what we're doing. Most of you know that. But we can slip into it so easily. So here's what Trungpa Rinpoche says. To diminish our delusion, mindfulness and alertness have to be maintained. But at the same time, thoughts are the natural display of the mind. So this does not mean that thoughts of attachment, aversion, and bewilderment will not continue to arise. They will. But if there is sufficient mindfulness and alertness, then upon their arising, their nature will be recognized and will not become a cause for the accumulation of karma. An initial thought liberated through recognition, that is, recognition of the nature of thoughts. So try to find a thought, hold it in your hand, make it solid. No can do. This initial thought, being liberated through recognition, will not produce a second thought or a third thought. In other words, thoughts continue to arise as the display of the mind, but they don't become the cause of the accumulation of further habits. The metaphor for this is like a vase with a hole in the bottom. You can pour water in, that would be all the thoughts coming in, but you'll never be able to fill it. Everything poured in flows right back out again. When this kind of mindfulness and alertness are maintained, although thoughts come into your mind, they go right back out of it. If you practice this way, gradually experience and realization that is of reality will occur. See, our problem is the thought comes in and we grab it, we solidify it, we follow it, we make a big story. Then the story leads to lots of emotions, right? You know this. Then somewhere in that train of stuff, we often go, oh, I'm totally carried away. We go back to the breath or back to the open meditation, whatever you're doing, and we drop the thought. In that moment, realization has occurred. You're free in that nanosecond. And our purpose is then to do that more and more and more. So we live in that open space of freedom, not caught. I think I had one other thing I wanted to share. Oh, this practice consists very simply of not following thoughts, but rest your mind in shamatha, in this calm focus. We need a balance between effort and relaxation. If you find yourself too tight, simply relax body and mind. If you find yourself foggy, sleepy, too loose, that is from lack of effort. Then you will have to try a little harder, put more effort into it. This mindfulness will keep us from forgetting what we're doing. In that moment where we see I've stopped calm abiding, I'm on to something, that's the mindfulness, that it's a factor of mind that allows us to do that. When we apply this mindfulness, the forgetfulness does not occur. Now, mindfulness in general is simply the faculty of remembering. It's a normal mental arising. However, here in the practice, we apply it in a very specific way. We establish a gentle, watchful meditation, alert yet gentle, with just enough intentional effort to not become distracted. So we have Trungpa Rinpoche guiding us. So you can, for the beginning of this practice, imagine the lineage teachers in front of you. If you don't have a very big picture of them, you can see the Buddha. Picture a light coming, white light from them into your forehead, a red light into your throat from their throat, a blue light into your heart from their heart. And let that soak in with kind of request and intention that they will guide you in this shamatha tonight and help each one of us stay mindful, stay alert. That when distraction arises, we will see it, we will see its emptiness, and we will return to the object of our meditation. Your object can be your breath, and that means very precisely on each breath as something new, fresh, never has happened before, because that is true about your breath. Or it can be a very bright image of the Buddha, golden light. Or it can be shamatha with no object, which is more difficult, but simply watching the thoughts without grasping them. And then each time we're distracted, coming back very gently and precisely to your object. And in that moment, noticing the freedom of seeing, I was caught, now I'm not caught. We'll do a break about every 7 minutes for stretch. Enjoy your meditation. have a stretch if you need one. Mindfully noticing the impulse. Gently bring your mind to the object. And relax. One method that's quite helpful is to spend a couple minutes during each of these sessions with a with a lot of energy, saying, I will not be distracted from my object. Very close to too tight, and try that out. And then drop that, not to the level of, okay, I'll let distractions in, but to the level of, I am watching, I am paying attention. So from a very, lots of intention, in this next 3 minutes, I will not be distracted from my object. Then, just to a more relaxed state of, I'm just watching and bringing it back. this virtue may I quickly realize Mahamudra and establish all beings without exception in this state. Thank you very much for being here. Few announcements. We just finished a dynamic class on equanimity and diversity. We did 3 classes, and those teachings are up on the website, so I would highly recommend them. About 22 people attended all 3 classes, and I think we learned a lot about how to deal with our own confusion about racism, sexism, classism, etc. So those are up on the website, and I am going to continue that effort here we're going to have an ongoing, more informal discussion of those issues, and I'll be putting an announcement out. It'll probably be about once a month for about an hour and a half. So if you did not take the class and you want to be in that group, I would recommend listening to the teachings. They were October, November, December, and then joining in the group. Okay. Then, let's see, this next week, there's something Tuesday. The Death and Dying Practice Group, 1:30 to 3 p.m., so you can practice death and dying. It's good to practice ahead of time. It's kind of a big deal, and we probably don't remember that we've done it a lot. And then Wednesday is Chenrezig, and in about 2 weeks we're going to have this Bodhisattva celebration on a Saturday in the evening. And these are fun, and it will be 5 to 7. And these are stories of any Bodhisattva activity in any universe by any being. So you can get up and tell a story of how your grandpa helped you out, or you met a Bodhisattva, or you want to tell one of the classic stories or sing a song. We're going to be doing that, and Mary Woods would like some help. This is Saturday, December 15th, 5 to 7 here. She would like some help decorating and setting up on the Friday before that. So if you have any time, December 14th, then contact Mary, or probably Linda G can put you in touch. Somebody had a question? Nope. Then 2 big things. The New Year's retreat's coming up. It's 2 full days, December 31st, January 1st here. A team will lead it, Lama Michael, probably Lama Michael, Bill, and I. And on the actual New Year's Day, the 1st, at 4 o'clock, you can take or renew refuge vows with Lama Michael. Quite good to do. That's a nice retreat because you can just come for a few hours. It's not like you got to come and stay like a lot of retreats are. So plan to be with us, whatever part of that you can. And then we are beginning to use the Rural Land SCOL for personal retreats. This is quite exciting. So there will be 2 months of an open period out there. February, I believe it's February 15th to April 13th. And there will be a teacher on site, Bill or Dora or me or somebody. to help guide. But this is, you choose how long you want to be out there. We're hoping at least come for 2 days. It's kind of not worth it to drive out and unpack and go for a day. So we're hoping people can come. The best would be a 5-day piece that you block off during those 2 months. You meet with one of the teachers to be clear about your schedule, and then you're in retreat. There will be a few things that we do together with everyone, like eat the meals, do blessings on the food, do some prayers together in the evening. But really, you'll get your own little cabin and get to practice whatever you're needing to do. It'd be a great opportunity to work on your Nindro if you are doing that, or to work on your Shamatha, Vipassana, or 4 measurables, whatever. So talk to one of the teachers, but most of all, I always say to people, just look at your calendar, block off 5 days, tell your family and your boss you're going to be gone. This is a good way to use your vacation. It's the best way. Because when you're dying, you won't care that you went to Costa Rica. You will care that your mind is in better shape. You will care about that a lot. Trust me. I've died so many times. I don't remember any of them. But anyway, I think it could be very helpful. Okay, any questions? Linda? What? Oh, young adult group this Friday. I assume Heather will be leading. She hasn't been feeling well, so we have to check in. But, okay, if you have questions about young adults, talk to me or Linda. Others, Robin?
The New Year's retreat, is that like going all through the nights and stuff?
Oh, no. No. It's kind of a 9 to 5 thing. Yeah, 9 to 4. And then the New Year's Day, it'll be 4 o'clock, probably till 6, doing the refuge. Okay, cool. Yeah, good question. No, we're not going to have slumber party. Linda?
And I'm looking for somebody to help me out. So we have an Omse that's scheduled every Sunday evening. But we need somebody that can come and open up and start the water, get the snack ready, turn the lights on, that kind of thing. So that there need to be 2 people really to open up and get things set for the practice. And I've been doing it, and I was having help from a couple, but they're not able to do it anymore. So if you'd be willing to come a half hour early, just turn on the lights, turn on the water, and, make the place welcoming, I'd really appreciate it. Because I'm anticipating being gone for the whole winter retreat, so I'll be gone for 2 months. So I really need somebody to come in and help. So, yeah, just come talk to me if you're interested. Thanks.
And that person would set up the altar too, right?
No, Omse.
Oh, the Omse does that part. Okay, so it's really just almost a housekeeping thing, which is, if you're a regular, that would be really great if you can do that. Okay, let's have some tea. There's some snacks left over from all day sit. Potluck, I think there's some good things down there. Might even be some pie left. There might be pie left. So we'll come back in about 10 minutes. Oh, thank you. Hey, we usually end at 7:20. I mean, usually I would say, well, we're ready. One go at 7:20.
So this is my first Sunday evening,
Yeah.
and I assumed it was like Sunday mornings, where you go for the full hour. So, and I just wanted to check. No, I was gonna wait until Well, I'm getting ready to take my licensing exam on Thursday, so I've been just working hard all season for that. So it'll be done. This is a national, well, it's through the state of Oregon, licensed professional counselor. So I've been a registered intern. You have to do 2,400 hours. So I finished my hours, and now you take a test. It's a multiple choice, like 2 to 3 hour test. Yeah. I know it's not any information really that I use at all, or any of us use actually. Yes, apparently they do some trick question stuff, so you have to read it really carefully. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. No, I know. Well, so last weekend was the board meeting. She emailed us all like right before the board meeting, and said that she's had just flu. She's had flu. So she said she was in the thick of it. So so that was a week ago. So hopefully it's better. Yeah. She was really appreciative. Yeah. I emailed her back. Yeah. So. Okay. Oh, good. So, do you want me to rouse them? Do you want them to be back by 1:45? Or should I rouse them then?
8:45, 8:50.
Okay.
Give me a little, let's see. Just go see if they're having fun. If they're having fun, leave it for a while.
Okay.
They tend to migrate up here in the evening because there aren't so many.
Sooner. Yeah.
So they kind of chat a little. It's not like the morning where you can't get them back.
Right.
You can't get them up here. It was so cold up here this morning.
This morning it was.
And now it's nice. But this morning, and downstairs was freezing.
Well, how about yesterday for the teaching that you did?
That was okay.
That's okay.
So I don't know what happened this morning. I just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
That's the one.